Hey there, I'm Sean O'Brien from Sports Education, and I'm here interviewing Brian Burke. We're going to talk a little bit about the importance of education in the NHL and in hockey in general. Thanks for doing this for me.
My pleasure.
So I know that you went to Harvard for your law degree, but what was your background educationally in your life?
I enrolled at Providence College in the fall of 1973. I played 4 years of varsity hockey. I made it as a walk-on. I didn't get any money my first year. I received the Forster Award, which is for excellence in European history, the highest grade point average in my graduating class in European history.
Wow.
I was accepted at Harvard and Georgetown law schools, and I deferred my admission at Harvard and went and played a year in the American Hockey League. And during that year, I applied for a Rhodes Scholarship and was a Rhodes Scholarship finalist. And then I enrolled in the fall of 1978 at Harvard Law School.
Wow. So is that why you feel so strongly that at the NHL level there should be a focus on education?
Yes, I think there should be a focus on education at every level of sports. There seems to be this persisting myth that you cannot be a serious student and be a serious athlete. And that's just garbage. That's just garbage. It's all about time management. If you manage your time, you can be an excellent athlete and an excellent student. And I'm not one of these gifted students that can read something once and remember it forever. I had to really work at my schoolwork. And for players with the spare time they have, the demands that we put on the average NHL or AHL player or ECHL player, they've got so much free time, so much time on the bus, so much time on an airplane. They've got time to continue their education, and that's why we're pushing it here in Toronto. We want as many players as possible within the organization to be involved in continuing education while they play.
Yeah, and I know that you've had a career beyond just being a general manager. You had mentioned previously that you're an agent. And all your experience since you've got involved in hockey specifically, have you seen, or what was the worst case that you saw for a player who was not prepared educationally and had a lot of success hockey-wise, and without really giving away anything that you shouldn't, what did you see happen when that person wasn't educated?
Oh, I know players that played in the NHL for 10 years. I know one player ended up parking cars in a minor league garage on game nights. I'm not going to name the player.
Right.
People should know, and the hockey players watching this video should know, when a player gets suspended in the National Hockey League, that money goes into an emergency assistance fund, which is administered by the league. And that money is used for former players who have become destitute for one reason or another. Many of those players, it's because they have no post-career job or life skills because they haven't continued their education. Right. And when I talk about education, I'm not talking, it could be a trade school is a great education too. You want to learn to be a master electrician, they make a great living, it's a great job. Yeah. I'm not just talking academics, I'm talking job skills and life skills. With what's available online today, there's no excuse for a player not being involved.
That's absolutely true, and I think you're going to see more players. I think younger players are actually more they're more interested in this kind of thing, and I think that there's a way for that to occur. What about just the best example, if you could, and if you want to name the person you could, but who's the person that you saw that did the best job in your career with education while they were playing?
Well, I think, I look at players that I've had that finished their degree before they turned pro or went back and finished after they turned pro and have had successful careers in real estate, successful careers in business. Like Doug Lidster is a player that played for me in Vancouver years ago, had his degree from Colorado College, was all set, wanted to get into hotel management, got into coaching instead, but he had about 8 doors open when he quit playing.
Right.
People wanted him to coach, people wanted him to work in the hotel industry. I've had a whole bunch of players that have gone on and had really successful careers because they finished their education or while they were playing took a real estate course and acquired life skills that way.
Right.
But your hockey career, even if you're really successful and play 20 years, you're going to be retired when you're 40. You may be set financially, but you're going to need something to do to occupy your mind. And golfing gets old, sitting around the house gets old. So to me, every bullet you can put in that gun to make your post-playing career more meaningful, you should take advantage of it.
I agree. One little bit of an oddball question, but if you had your 2016 first-round pick sitting in an office with you, and he's entering, I guess, his freshman year in high school, and he's your first-round pick, what would you say to him about preparation for being that pick?
Well, I'll tell you a story that might answer that better. When I drafted the Sedin twins, they didn't come over right away. Like, a lot of people don't realize I drafted them in '99. They didn't come over for a year.
Mm-hmm.
I went over to watch them play one night in Modo in Orschelschwieg, and they were awful.
Right.
They were awful. And after the game, I told our Swedish scout, Thomas Gradin, you go down and ask them what's the matter. If they both don't have the flu, I'm getting fired. That's how bad they were. And he went down, he came up, and he said, you're going to be happy with the answer. And I said, what's the answer? He said, they had a calculus exam. And they stayed up till 4 o'clock in the morning studying so they could ace their calculus exam. That's the answer I wanted.
Wow.
That's the only answer besides illness that would have satisfied me for how they played.
Mm-hmm.
I thought the commitment that showed to excellence and the discipline that showed spoke volumes for the character of these kids. That these are kids who are guaranteed to be millionaires someday.
Yeah.
And they stayed up till 4 in the morning to try and ace a calculus exam. I got time for that.
Excellent. And then just generally, there are a lot of kids who aspire to do that, who will not be that pick, and they, young kids have dreams, and they also, both inside hockey and outside hockey, just generally speaking, for youth hockey players out there, what would be important for them to hear from you as it relates to school? The
odds that you're going to get to play for me or any other NHL team are infinitesimal.
Yeah.
For every 190 kids that play, I think one kid makes it to junior A.
Yeah.
I think it's out of every, I'll get the stats all wrong. Mm-hmm. It's 1 out of 4,000 that plays in the NHL. Something ridiculous. Mm-hmm. The chances of you as a hockey player, anyone who's watching this video, your chances to play in the National Hockey League are small. Mm-hmm. Because there's only a small number of jobs. There's very talented people fighting for those jobs. Those players come from all over the world. And then, even if you're good enough to play, you got to stay healthy and all the rest of it. You can't bank on that. No mathematician in the world would say these odds make sense to bank on. Put something else in your wallet that you can use to make a living and have a meaningful life and have a job you enjoy when you get done playing. And then, guess what? You might play, and then the education's a bonus.
Yeah.
Now you've put in the time, you've got your education, and all of a sudden you're playing and you're saying, now, what do I want to do? And maybe it's grad school, or maybe it's banking, but you've got the foundation. So don't bank on hockey. Bank on education, and then if you make it as a player, great. Then you've got both.
I appreciate your time and your dedication to hockey and education, and I think it's going to make a difference for a lot of young players. Thank you.
Thank you.